Deshaun Watson has backed off from the Browns, but not the other 3 teams that he's currently considering. I was told last night he was torn between the 4 options. And when you're torn between 4 options, your best approach is to try to eliminate one. And he's eliminated one. He eliminated Cleveland, but it's still down to 3 NFC South teams, the Falcons, the Panthers, and the Saints. I was told within the past hour that he remains undecided. People have been saying, oh, decision's coming, and where's the decision? I mean, I was told last night it could come by this morning. It could happen in the next few days. They need to do something, and he needs to make a decision. And reportedly had a second meeting with the Saints last night. And ownership is involved in these meetings for all the teams that have met with Watson, coach and GM. So he was serious enough about the Saints to talk to them again. Now, who knows where it goes from here? The Falcons are in his hometown of Atlanta. And Sims said today on PFT Live, Shireen, that he has heard Watson actually wanted the Falcons, that the other 3 teams wanted Watson. Watson wanted the Falcons. And if all things are equal, then I would think the Falcons would have an edge, since it means playing in his hometown.
Yeah, the thing is, I look at their roster, and I looked at their depth chart today, and I was like, oh my gosh, is he really going? I mean, the team that he would be going to looks worse than the Houston team he won 4 games with 2 years ago. I mean, that roster is just awful, and I don't see it getting much better. With the salary cap that hit they're going to have to take with Matt Ryan and taking on Deshaun Watson's salary and everything else they're going to do. I just don't know how good that roster is going to be. But I looked at it, and I'm like, okay, you've got Kyle Pitts and a bunch of nobodies at receiver, Mike Davis at running back, so you've got a tight end basically who's really good and not much of anything else. But I get it. He was former Falcons ball boy. He grew up a Falcons fan. He likes Arthur Blank. Arthur Blank likes him, hometown. I get all that. So I get why he's interested in the Falcons, but I just don't see this being a team he can go to and suddenly transform them and they're going to go win a Super Bowl. I just don't really see that happening. So I'm surprised. I thought they were a long shot. And now, to me, based on everything we've heard and what you've said, they may be the favorite in this thing.
Kyle Pitts, who plays for the Falcons, first-round pick last year, had a great season. Took a little while to get going, but ended up having a great season. Represented by David Mulugeta, who also represents Deshaun Watson. Ended up trending today on Twitter when he said, it's about to get scary in Atlanta, zipped mouth shut emoji. And as Mike Garafolo pointed out, the tweet was deleted. Now, this is where it gets a little fishy, Kyle. Come on, Kyle. We're not stupid here. He tried to say he was talking about Casey Hayward being signed by the Falcons. This is not Deion Sanders 2.0. This is not something that's going to make it scary in Atlanta. Deshaun Watson makes it scary in Atlanta. And if you really were talking about Casey Hayward, there's no reason to immediately delete it. So his story does not hold water to me. I think he caught wind of something that made him think Deshaun Watson was picking the Falcons, and maybe he still will, Shireen. But that made me think it's just a matter of time. That basically between when that happened and 4 p.m. Eastern, we were going to see the news that Deshaun Watson had picked the Falcons. And we still haven't. We still could at any moment. We are in one of those fairly rare scenarios where we are just anticipating. And who knows? Maybe it'll come during the show. But it felt like it was going to be Atlanta. And you also know that the teams are working behind the scenes, too, aggressively. They want their guy. So I'm sure that when the Saints and the Panthers caught wind of that, they probably reached out to somebody and said, is this really the end? What else can we do? What can we talk about? Can we talk to him again, etc.? And also, one more thing. I still hold out the possibility that there's somebody else out there waiting to try to swoop in and make a play. The longer this goes, the greater the chance somebody's going to say, you know what, let's jump in and get this done. If the Rams didn't have Matthew Stafford, I would say the Rams would eventually jump in. I'm trying to think who out there that doesn't have a high-end quarterback could be that team that decides to swoop in at the last minute and try to get Deshaun Watson. But until there's a decision and as more time goes by, I'm going to be thinking more and more that somebody else could try to get involved in this.
Well, and Mike, let's talk about plan Bs. What is the Falcons' plan? Well, they've got to have 2 plan Bs. So now, are they talking behind the scenes? Do they have something set up for Matt Ryan? Because we've heard no noise of, oh, they're shopping Matt Ryan and they have this deal ready. Is that going to be something that's going to be easily done once Deshaun Watson makes his decision, if it in fact is the Falcons? And B, what is their plan B if they don't get Deshaun Watson? Is it to bring Matt Ryan back? I could more see him coming back to play in Atlanta, obviously, than Baker Mayfield because he has a long relationship there. But nonetheless, I do still think that's a question. Is Matt Ryan going to want to return to the Falcons to be their quarterback if they don't get Deshaun Watson?
Well, and that raises an interesting question, too, because on Friday of last week, NFL media reported as a done deal a Matt Ryan restructuring that would have created $12 million in cap space this year. His salary cap number was and still is $48.66 million because they didn't do the restructuring. And I was looking up today trying to figure out what the cap charge would be if they trade and wanted to confirm it was going to be $55 million. And if the new deal had gone through, it would be $55 million to trade him before June 1. The deal didn't go through. We confirmed that with the team. The deal did not go through. So it's a $40.5 million plus cap charge to trade him before June 1 under this current deal. They'll carry the ridiculously record high $48.66 million number until then. But he's got a roster bonus due tomorrow. And usually the way it works is if you're on the roster at the end of the day before the roster bonus is due, you've earned it. And so unless they got Matt Ryan to agree to delay the vesting date of that roster bonus, and maybe he would to facilitate this, I don't know. But unless they got him to do that, their cap charge now is $48 million plus by trading him, unless they can find a way to knock that out. Albert Breer pointed out the money's not due until April 15. And I guess if they force that onto the new team and the new team takes on the obligation, they get cap relief. I'm not quite sure how that works. The cleanest way to do it, though, is just get the trade done of Matt Ryan before today. But they're not ready to just move on from Matt Ryan until they know what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson. So that tells me that plan B would be try to keep Matt Ryan now. And I don't want to be hypocritical here because and I think Baker Mayfield is perfectly justified to want to be traded after what's happened. But if the Browns think he's not mature enough to deal with the situation, of course the reasonable response is he would ask for a trade. From Matt Ryan's perspective, when you consider everything he's done for that team and everything he's gone through, and he arrived as the savior post-Mike Vick fiasco, and now he's getting thrown overboard after he has never shown any inclination to want to be traded by the Falcons, and he has suffered through lean years after their Super Bowl appearance 5 years ago. He's never, I've interviewed him a couple of times, he's never done anything other than say he wants to stay with the Falcons. And they're gonna dump him for a guy that's got 22 lawsuits alleging sexual misconduct during massage therapy sessions. He's got every right to be pissed. Mayfield's got every right to be pissed. Ryan's got every right to be pissed. And, could we have the exact same thing if Deshaun picks the Saints or the Panthers? Could Matt Ryan's next move be to say to Arthur Blank, I'm ready to move on, pal. Sorry, but it's over. I was willing to stay here my entire career until you went out and tried to find my replacement. I am ready to move on.
And I think somebody takes Matt Ryan, Mike, but if it's me and it's my team, I'm not going to do it. He turns 37 in May. I mean, he's still been a really good quarterback. I get that. He's played on some bad teams with some bad talent. And again, to think that Deshaun Watson's going to go in and just miraculously turn this team around. They were 7-10 last year. Played in a lot of close games. I get that. But Matt Ryan truly wasn't their problem. But turns 37 in May, and on top of that, with this contract that's just, I wouldn't want. I wouldn't want any part of Matt Ryan. I would want to go a different direction and try to get a younger guy who I think I can build with, even if it's taking a chance on somebody in the draft. I just don't think I would trade for Matt Ryan.
But if I was the Colts, I would. If I'm the Colts and my alternative is Sam Ehlinger, I would.
Team. Yeah.
Yep. And if I'm Matt Ryan and I look at the Falcons roster, as you were reviewing earlier, and I look at the Colts roster, the end result may be that neither the Browns nor the Falcons get Deshaun Watson, and that both the Browns and the Falcons move on from their current quarterbacks. The difference, though, is, as we said earlier, and as Chris Sims heard this morning, it was the Falcons who were reached out to by Watson. So maybe they'll have an easier time putting the toothpaste back in the tube if they don't get Deshaun Watson, but we'll see. It's getting interesting. I didn't say toothpaste holder just for you. It's getting interesting on multiple fronts.
It's
it's a story that, well, the hay was out of the barn on that one. But it's a story that's going to keep percolating.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.